Introduction. A familiar struggle. Imagine Sarah, a 35-year-old marketing manager, juggling multiple responsibilities both at work and home. From the outside, she seems successful. She has a stable job, a family, and a relatively comfortable lifestyle. But inside, she feels overworked, stressed, and overwhelmed. Her day-to-day routine feels like an endless series of tasks and obligations, leaving her exhausted and unfulfilled. She feels like she's running in place. There's no sense of direction or growth in her life, just the never-ending demands of her job and personal life. This is when Sarah stumbles across Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Curious, she picks up the book and begins reading, hoping it will provide her with the guidance she's been searching for. Little does she know, this book will be a turning point, offering her a new way to live and work more effectively. Habit 1. Be proactive. The first habit Covey presents is be proactive, and it challenges Sarah immediately. Covey explains that people are either reactive or proactive. Reactive people let external circumstances control their actions. They complain about situations without taking responsibility for their role in them. Proactive people, on the other hand, take responsibility for their lives and focus on what they can control, rather than what they cannot. Sarah realizes that she has been largely reactive in her life. At work, she often blames others when projects fail. She complains about her workload but does nothing to manage it more effectively. In her personal life, she feels like a victim of circumstance, overwhelmed by the demands of family, friends, and her job. But after reading Covey's words, she starts to see things differently. Being proactive means taking ownership of her actions and her mindset. Sarah begins by identifying the things she can control: her attitude, her responses, and her decisions. The next time her boss hands her an unreasonable deadline, instead of feeling defeated or blaming her workload, she calmly explains the situation and negotiates a more manageable timeline. In her personal life, she stops waiting for things to change and starts making proactive choices. For example, instead of waiting for her husband to notice that she's overwhelmed with household duties, she asks for help. Slowly, she feels a sense of empowerment that she hasn't felt in years. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. The second habit encourages individuals to begin with the end in mind, to have a clear vision of what they want to achieve in life. This habit is about imagining your future self and working backward, setting goals and making decisions that align with that long-term vision. Covey suggests that we should all take the time to imagine our own funerals and think about what we'd want people to say about us. What kind of person do we want to be remembered as? What achievements or relationships will we be proud of? By visualizing the legacy we want to leave, we can set clear, meaningful goals that guide our daily actions. This habit is particularly useful in both personal and professional settings. For instance, if you're starting a new job, rather than simply trying to survive the day-to-day tasks, you could ask yourself where you want to be in 5 years. What skills do you want to develop? What kind of impact do you want to have? With this long-term vision in mind, you can make decisions that bring you closer to your goals instead of just reacting to the immediate demands around you. Sarah, a mid-level manager, felt stuck in her career, unable to see a way forward. She decided to write a personal mission statement, clarifying her purpose and long-term objectives. Once she understood what she wanted her life to look like both personally and professionally, she began setting smaller, achievable goals that moved her in that direction. By starting with the end in mind, Sarah was able to regain control of her career and chart a clear path to success. Habit 3. Put first things first. Since you have a vision of your end goals, the next step is to put first things first, to prioritize your time and focus on what truly matters. Covey uses a time management matrix to help us understand that not all tasks are created equal. There are urgent tasks that demand immediate attention, and then there are important tasks that contribute to our long-term goals but might not feel pressing in the moment. Most people spend their time dealing with urgent tasks, emails, meetings, last-minute crises. However, the truly effective people focus on the important but not urgent activities, like planning, relationship building, and self-improvement. These are the tasks that, when consistently prioritized, lead to lasting success. Take, for example, a new entrepreneur juggling multiple responsibilities. It's easy to get caught up in answering customer emails, managing social media, and handling day-to-day operations. But if the entrepreneur never sets aside time to strategize long-term growth, network, or invest in their skills, they risk burning out without ever moving their business forward. Covey advises us to schedule time for these important activities, even when they don't seem immediately urgent. This habit is all about discipline and time management, knowing what your highest priorities are and dedicating your best energy to those things, rather than being caught up in the whirlwind of distractions. Habit 4. Think win-win. One of Covey's most influential concepts is thinking win-win, the idea that in any negotiation or relationship, we should aim for mutually beneficial solutions. Win-win thinking is a mindset that seeks fairness, equality, and collaboration, rather than competition or a zero-sum game where one person must lose for the other to win. In the workplace, win-win thinking might look like finding a solution to a disagreement that benefits both parties. For instance, a manager and an employee might disagree on a project timeline. Rather than one person insisting on their way, they work together to come up with a compromise that meets both the manager's need for timely results and the employee's need for a manageable workload. In personal relationships, win-win thinking fosters healthy communication and respect. Instead of trying to win arguments or prove a point, individuals aim to understand the other person's needs and find solutions that honor both parties. This habit builds stronger, more positive relationships because it removes the pressure of competition and encourages mutual success. Covey teaches that thinking win requires a mindset of abundance, where there's enough success to go around rather than a scarcity mentality. This mindset not only enhances relationships, but also opens up more opportunities for collaboration and creative solutions. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This habit is about mastering the art of empathetic listening. Most of us listen with the intent to respond, rather than to truly understand what the other person is saying. We are often so focused on preparing our rebuttal or offering advice that we miss the deeper message behind someone's words. Covey urges us to seek first to understand, then to be understood. This means listening deeply and attentively to others before offering our perspective or advice. It requires us to practice empathy and put ourselves in the other person's shoes. Imagine you're a manager dealing with a frustrated employee. Instead of immediately offering a solution or defending yourself, you pause and listen. You ask clarifying questions and try to understand why the employee feels the way they do. By the end of the conversation, you might find that the root of the problem is not what you initially thought. Understanding their perspective allows you to respond more effectively and strengthens your relationship. This habit is essential in both personal and professional life. Whether you're dealing with a client, a coworker, or a family member, practicing empathetic listening fosters trust and opens up more productive, meaningful conversations.
Habit 6. Synergize. Synergy is the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In Covey's view, true effectiveness comes from working together in ways that leverage the strengths of individuals to create something greater than what could be achieved alone. In practical terms, this means embracing diversity and valuing different perspectives. Effective teams don't just tolerate differences, they celebrate them. They understand that combining different skills, experiences, and viewpoints can lead to innovative solutions that no single individual could come up with on their own. In a team setting, synergy might look like bringing together people from different departments to solve a problem. Each person contributes their unique expertise, and through collaboration, the team is able to develop a creative solution that none of them could have achieved on their own. By harnessing the power of diversity and cooperation, they produce something far greater than any one person could have. Covey's point is that synergy doesn't just happen, it requires effort and trust. It's about being open to others' ideas, seeking out collaboration, and valuing the contributions of every team member. The result is often greater creativity, better problem solving, and more effective outcomes. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. The final habit is about renewal, taking time to sharpen the saw. Just as a woodcutter who doesn't sharpen their saw becomes less effective over time, individuals who don't take care of themselves eventually burn out. Covey emphasizes the importance of regularly renewing ourselves in 4 key areas: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physically, this means staying active, eating well, and getting enough rest. Mentally, it means continuing to learn and challenge yourself intellectually. Emotionally, it involves nurturing relationships and managing stress. Spiritually, it means staying connected to your values and sense of purpose. For example, a professional who works long hours without taking breaks might find that their productivity declines over time. However, by setting aside time for exercise, hobbies, and family, they come back to work feeling refreshed and more focused. Similarly, someone who invests in personal development, whether through reading, attending workshops, or practicing mindfulness, will continue to grow and perform at a higher level. Sharpening the saw is a crucial habit for long-term effectiveness. It reminds us that taking care of ourselves is not a luxury but a necessity. By regularly renewing our energy, skills, and relationships, we ensure that we can continue to be effective in all areas of life.